So tell me how you think power could fit into the world of Monaco from what you've seen so far.
Oh man, it works here. Power, you see the money, the success out there? There's a lot of money out the window.
Success.
A lot of beautiful yachts, everything out there. That's when you made it. See, you know when I look at a yacht.
This is actually the dream of Ghost.
That's right. You know what a yacht is? It's like a hole in the water. You keep putting money in.
It is a hole in the water.
You have to have
how many
yacht
times
time.
do people get on yachts?
Yeah, you have
twice a year, and they
a
spend
year.
all of that money. There's some yachts out here, $20 million.
Easy.
That's
Easy.
definitely the dream of at least 6 characters in power.
Yeah.
At least 6 characters in power would love to be in Monaco. Now, some would like to be selling drugs in Monaco.
Because the characters grew up under circumstances where they had financial restraints. That's their goal, to get out of having to think about any bills or anything financial.
Omari, what's Curtis like as a boss, as an executive producer?
Like you just saw.
What does that mean?
Crazy sense of humor. Very clear, very decisive. Hard for me to be around men that aren't decisive. It doesn't, it wouldn't vibe well. I need direction. I like direction. I guess because I'm so direct. So I like direction. And extremely clear, very knowledgeable about what he wants, and can always see the end result of it, which is really different. I'm such a processor that I enjoy the process. Curtis is real big on like, okay, you're in the process, so because you're so artsy. You're an ex-ball player, so you're about process. But just know that when you finish the process, this is where you'll be standing.
Yeah.
So it's taught me a lot, which is, to answer your question, it's a very, very added entity to my table in life. So that would be that of a brother, that of a mentor at times, that of a friend. When we disagree, we figure that out pretty quickly. He's been exactly what we are. This rapport is very natural for he and I.
Curtis, what do you attribute the success of Power to?
Well, I think a big part of it is Omari. Without having the right lead, I think the project doesn't have the success that you anticipated. Like when we talked about it from the very beginning, I thought Omari was the guy. I knew he was the guy. And we went through. There was a point we went through a table read specifically, and because he was like internalizing the information, he was
processing.
He was processing it. He was reading it, and they weren't being entertained by the table read. And I was like, he wasn't performing. He was getting the information, and I knew what it was, but because I do it myself when I'm figuring out what it is that we're actually doing.
I'll say this. And this is one of the things that I learned, and I'm unafraid to say it, very unapologetic in saying it. Curtis more like an NBA basketball player of brown skin color, makes $1 quick as a musical artist. Does that make sense? So executors who don't look like us can say, but metrically, Curtis is a value. He is a viable commodity. NBA basketball players go from at times being 21 years old to making $21 million. An executor up in the front office can say this is viable, it is a value, it makes money. What Curtis has probably watched is me learn value and commodity because I became one. So what I've learned is, and I'll kiss him on the cheek in saying this, Chris Albrecht, I kissed Curtis on the cheek on Good Morning America. In front of the incredible Robin Roberts. But it was so ironic because I was kissing him on the cheek for everything he knew already that came with my ability. Chris Albrecht at Stars, in that table read, just specifically that, I think what happened is there is a thought of this is a brown product in Chris's mind. I never made it that, which is why I think it's successful, because my mind doesn't make it to be a brown product. I think Tom Hardy could have played this role. Now, I don't think that many people could have played it, but I think Tom Hardy could have played it. He doesn't look like me. He's got an internal thing like me, a fire like me, but he could have played this role. What I realized is if it's a product that has a black writer and showrunner in Courtney Kemp, female, double minority, black female, an executor in Curtis, and a lead in Omari, then that is all of a sudden a product that you haven't necessarily seen move metric numbers the way that Power moved numbers. So me processing quietly does not denote that Chris Albrecht didn't think I was gifted. But he needed to see what you guys are now watching in the table read. Well, it's impossible to watch it in the table read. So he had to learn, oh, you're processing, learning the guy, figuring him out so much, but I've never necessarily had a Brown product, let alone had a Brown product become the face of the network, let alone be number 2 to Game of Thrones. He never had that. So if it's considered a Brown product not by me, it's perhaps considered that by the executors at Stars. And so I think Omari, as a non-DiCaprio, as a non-Tom Hardy, doing a quiet processing of a table read, if I'm DiCaprio or Tom Hardy, I think Chris is like, oh, he's just processing.
Yes.
But if it's me, it's like, what's he doing? It is what it is. Races don't all know each other until they know each other. We can't skirt around that. Races don't all know each other until we know each other. So Chris learning my race is not new to him. He helped push comedy forward, from Richard Pryor to Martin Lawrence. But he never necessarily helped push a leading male drama actor forward. This is the first time he's done that. And Curtis was the one going, Chris, you got to help Omari go forward. It was Curtis going, you got to watch him.
So you mentioned it before, the show's number 2 now on cable.
Number
2
2.
Game of Thrones.
Number 2.
What will it take to get past Game of Thrones?
Curtis can answer that question.
My next couple seasons. My next 2
You
seasons
need 2.
will get me.
You need 2. I need
My
2.
next 2 seasons. See, look, the clear sign of you having a hit show is it actually goes uphill in ratings.
Yes.
It continuously goes up in ratings. We grew every episode last season.
It's true.
So as we continue on that growth, I'll make it to the number 1 slot. You know, because this right now we're on season 4 of Power, starting this Sunday coming, and the writers in the writers' room now. They're already working on season 5 because it was picked up season 4 and 5 together at the end of season 3. So now, at this point, they'll be deciding whether they're going to pick up episodes 6 and 7, maybe, yeah. So, and at that point, we'll be at that Sopranos mark, the point.
7
Sopranos went 7 seasons.
They went 7
and,
seasons.
You know, so I felt really good about it.
The Wire went 5 only?
Yeah, only 5.
How many did Breaking Bad go? 6. 6.
But these are really good shows we're talking about.
I'm phenomenal.
You know,
I mean, they
and
push TV forward. So it's even in that conversation.
I think we
it's
have
crazy.
enough to go 7 seasons and stop before people are overwhelmed with it.
Stars has done a great job of believing, man. And when we say that, we tease Chris, Curtis and I both, knowing that Chris immediately, after the first daily, meaning the first day of work, he watched the dailies and said, okay, the quiet table read processor Omari Hardwick is absolutely
he knew it was all right then.
the guy. It was day
But
one that he knew. So we're teasing him, but it's definitely Stars' power, Curtis's power, Courtney Kemp's power, which has grown. Though, as long as those people stay where they need to, the heads of Stars, Curtis, he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
and Courtney, then we're, as actors, we're fine.
Like, television executives are aware of other people's mistakes. They're aware of that project that they see everyone's process.
It's part of their
so
genius.
they see so many people, so many projects not work, that they're looking at trying to troubleshoot or see something if it's something standing out to them. And for me, I couldn't see those things because I was so close to this project. I worked on it for so long that I was like, no, this is it. This is gonna just take off. And I knew Omari was the guy because me and Courtney sorted him out before this. Like, I called him personally. There was other opportunities knocking at the door for Omari at the point that I actually got him. I talked him into doing
2
this.
hours.
2 hours on the telephone getting him to do this actual show. And then when it turns into
I
what
just
it
saw
turns
what they
into,
were trying to do. I was like, this is different.
Yeah.
I needed to talk to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
It wasn't enough to just read it on the thing and the manager and agent say, hey, read this and tell me if you want to go in and meet for it. I needed to talk to, he's so complex and so dynamic, and I didn't know Courtney.
Yeah.
So it's a lot that requires, it's a lot for Curtis in terms of talking to him. You require a lot because he's so complex. Conversations need to be had. With Courtney, you don't really know her, so conversations need to be had. So I had a conversation with her, learned her brain, learned the nerd in her. The nerd part was great. You know, at heart, I'm a nerd.
really
and,
smart.
and Curtis is kind of nerdy at heart. We're both readers and we know a lot of things, you know. So when I got on the phone with him, I was like, wow, this is a kid from Southside Jamaica, Queens, said goodbye to his mother at the year of 8. His mom passed away, didn't know his pops, but is really just off the chart bright. Curtis is a very bright individual and aggressive like Omari. So the combination with her nerdiness and the stature that we felt like she was as a potential showrunner. We saw that with Shonda Rhimes as a black female.
Yeah.
Shonda Rhimes has been it, but we knew, Curtis and I knew together as brothers to Courtney, that she could take off and be that thing. So the conversation with him, 2 hours long. Conversation with her, 15 minutes to see what she was. I said, oh, I'm in. I'm doing this show. Then they made me audition.
The evil eye from your producer.
Oh, you're fine.
So
You're fine.
smart. It's so fascinating.
We enjoy talking to